any recognition, really, although there are a few quiet people that will whisper it quietly onto her. No, he is a good player. No, he is a good player.
If you say it quietly, they won't get shouted at. But
this is it. You don't want to get shouted at. Well, I don't really care. But, there are people that will try and shout you down for having a contrary opinion to
I always get shouted at. I don't care. Always getting shouted at. But I think credit where it's due. I mean, you can call someone out when they're having a shit game, and you can praise someone when they are, and they're having a great game. So for me, he's definitely come on from where people kind of saw him last season, and even at the beginning of the season. I think he's been really good. He's been pretty soundless lately. I can't remember the last time I thought, Sanchez.
I wouldn't have dropped him.
I wouldn't have dropped him.
I didn't understand that yesterday. Didn't understand it.
He would have played for me, so Eric Dyer would need to prove his fitness again and come back next year.
I thought it was a weird one.
Shit happens. Anything else, Stace? I think you had another question you wanted to drop in there.
Yeah, well, where's Spurs come from in your family, Abby? How did Spurs come about for you?
Well, my dad was originally from Edmonton, so obviously right by it. So that's kind of where it's always come from. My grandpa, who's sadly also no longer with us now due to COVID, he was also massive Tottenham. He was actually from the East End, but massive Tottenham fan. So it's always been in my side of the family. There's a few Gooners, but that's, been brought in by my uncle, so we just kind of ignore that. And there's one random West Ham fan. So it was always kind of going to be Tottenham. I know, one random West Ham. No idea what happened to him. What a shame. So yeah, it's always been Tottenham. So I'm actually an only child, and from my dad, he always sits there and he goes, "You're the son I never had, but the daughter I always wanted." Because
Sweet.
It's cute. It's so cute. So it's nice because I've always got to go to football with him, and I've always actually probably pushed him more because he always had a season ticket, and then when I was born, I think he kind of dropped off the pace. And then when I was about 8 or 9, I was like, "Oh my god, what is this thing called football? I love it." And then we've always just gone ever since. So it's nice that we have that kind of thing to bond over, especially when you're a girl and you don't really have that much else to bond over with your dad sometimes. So football's always been our thing. So that's where it's come from.
Okay, fantastic. Good stuff. Okay, I think we're kind of coming to the end of the show. We have, for all of our guests recently, we've just added a few quick-fire questions at the end. All right, so We've got 3 quick-fire questions for you. Try not to spend too long on them. I'm guessing by the fact that Stacey laughed, he didn't tell you in advance what these were.
Stacey didn't tell me. Stacey didn't tell me anything about tonight. Stacey was just like, "Are you free on this day?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can't wait." He's like, "Cool."
About on this show, it's nice.
So you haven't had time
to. I've loved it. Don't worry, I've loved it. I haven't prepared anything.
So you haven't had time to prepare. So, never mind. Anyway, so first question. Daniel Levy calls you and you've got 15 seconds to give him advice. What would that advice be?
Invest in the club, invest in the team, and you'll have your money back.
Good. Love that. Good. Concise and to the point. Okay. If you could choose a current or ex-player to have a pint with, who would it be and why? And you cannot choose Graham Roberts.
I wouldn't choose him anyway. I spent way too much time with him. God, who would I have? Ex-player.
Could be a current player. Could be a current player or ex-player.
I mean, if it's current, I'd have Harry Kane. Ex-player, I'm only going to go really recent history as well. Probably Moussa Dembele, just to tell him how much I loved him.
Love that.
Grouchy for me.
Good stuff.
Another good one to have a pint with. He's got banter as well.
Yeah,
he does.
Top banter. Great guy. And the last question: safe standing or seating?
Safe standing.
Good stuff. Where is your ticket? Where are you located in the stadium?
If I can remember correctly, I think my block is 252, and I'm not standing, but that's because of my dad, so I can't stand the whole time. And my dad was unfortunately quite unwell a few years ago, so we don't stand. We have to have the option of a seat, but we are just behind the goal, south stand, and the first row of the seated. So if anything, I feel like I'm standing, but I'm not. They're just in front of me, so I feel like I am.
Can I just say something quickly? Have you gotten on this day quickly? I'm really obviously conscious of time, but I've got a couple of on this days.
Okay.
On this day, on the 27th of July, 1994, we signed Ili Dumitrescu. And on the 29th of July, 1994, this obviously isn't on this day, but in 2 days, because we're not going to do this again, we signed Jurgen Klinsmann to link up with the famous five of himself, Ili Dimitrescu, Teddy, Nick Barmby, and Darren Anderton. And what a fucking failure that was, wasn't it? We'll score more than you. And on this day today, the transfer window opened, so we're going to have more madness from Twitter, aren't we?
We
for
are.
the next couple of months. So
we've already signed someone. We signed Tanganga. So
technically,
he's like a new signing, isn't he?
So yeah,
that's very, very, very important getting him to sign.
I know, definitely. Massively for he's massive, going to be massive.
He's
for
like a little Ledley King for me, and he's going to be like Ledley King.
I agree.
I've honestly got some real high hopes for him. He reads the game really well. He's really strong. He's 80 odd kilograms. Do you know what I mean? So that's a good old 6 foot plus. Boom.
You make him sound like a racehorse.
It's rare you get a player, especially when I think his debut was against Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
So it's like it's rare that a player comes on, you lose the game, and you still really highly regard someone, and so young. How he came on was so comfortable and looked like he'd been playing for years in a game like that. So I think that's credit to him, and I think you're right. I think he'll be really good for us.
Very quietly, but that's credit to Jose as well because he dropped him in there at the right time. So
very true.
So anyway, Dennis Kraken as well, another Dublin-born boy, left back. So you're going to put some pressure on Ben over the next couple of years.
Good stuff. Okay, so I think we can wrap up there. It's been a great show. It's been a real pleasure to have you on, Abbi. Input's been fantastic. It's been good to see you again, Jamie.
Cheers.
No, honestly,
he said it so reluctantly.
Yeah.
Pleasure. It's a pleasure to see you, Jamie.
He hates me really. He was just desperate. That's why I'm here.
Desperate Steve. That's what I'm often known as.
Yeah.
And
but that's for other reasons, though, isn't it?
Well, yeah. Moving on, mate. Moving on.
Yeah, the police won't let you talk about that.
They try not to. No, that's why I'm trying to wrap it up because I've got an appointment with them in about 10 minutes.
What's that? Tag on your ankle?
Yes, mate. Yes. Okay, and Stace, thanks for joining us again.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Abbi.
You're welcome. Thanks so much for having me, guys. Hope to be back on for the next season as well.
Cheers.
Okay, so we've been the Barside Spurs podcast. Thank you very much and good night.
Coys.
Go Spurs.